Happy Devils Sunday. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, Season 8, Episode 1. Coming to you live from the Primetime Radio Studios in beautiful New Jersey, inside the bunker, at the mountaintop with the mountain view, and across North America, we got Scotty of SiriusXM. Liquid metal from his Beverly Hills confines.
Steven Angle. The fellatio part.
But we're back.
That's the part that you missed.
We're back.
We are.
On Facebook Live, YouTube Live. We now pay $22 a month on X Live and Twitch.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
Yeah. We're back.
Worth every dollar.
Yeah. So.
Is it?
20, I think we're actually 20 days. 20 days, boys. 20
Yeah,
days.
we're getting close. I cannot
Getting
wait.
close.
I can't wait.
Feel it. You got, and there's a lot going on. There's a lot of the prospect challenges going on right now, and there's some potential PTOs that are swirling around, and one of them, an ex-shark that could be swimming in our waters over here. Actually, kind of a native to this area. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, but we'll get into all that in a little bit. But boys, it's nice to see you guys. I feel like we've taken a little bit of a hiatus. You know, that summer break, we kind of lick our wounds and get our slings on and get the old back massage, the body massage, and now here we are back at it. And Scott looks confused.
I never put a sling
Scott,
on and then got a massage. I don't know. That just seems a little backwards there. But.
Yeah.
What a weird thing to do. You like put it on, just go in there, and you're like, "Yeah, can you work this out for me? It's already pretty messed up." So.
I'm here for a massage, but don't touch me here. 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 All right.
Especially if your name is Luke Hughes.
I was just going to bring that up. In a
That's
sling.
probably the biggest news right now is old Lukey boy going to be missing, 6 to 8 weeks here to start out the season with a, I believe it was a non-contact shoulder injury.
Fire the trainer.
What's
Fire
going
the
on with
trainer.
these Hughes boys? These Hughes boys and their weak shoulders. You got some
Genetics.
weak shoulders in this family.
It's all genetics.
They're gentle.
They can skate like the wind, but boy, oh boy, are those shoulders pretty weak.
Yeah.
The shoulders aren't landing them on the cover of NHL 25. You know, it's those pretty faces that get it done over there. They're like the Jonas Brothers of hockey, basically. That's what they are right now.
I don't know if that's an insult or.
Hey, well, they're from New Jersey. The Jonas Brothers played the thing last year. You know, the outdoor game. So there you go.
They all have that in common.
Yeah.
Oh. Speaking of the outdoor game, the Devils have scored just as many points in Giant Stadium as the Giants this season so far. I think that was a stat I saw after last week, and then this week was just a debacle today. But yeah, so the Devils have just as many.
I think Daniel Jones has actually thrown more touchdowns to the opposing team than he has the Giants since he's signed that contract.
I
believe that's
$160 million.
I believe that's correct. Yeah. But yeah, Luke Hughes is going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks here. And, you know, last year I think we would have been quaking, but this year Fitzy, obviously went out there and said, okay, last year cannot happen again. No. And this year you're already seeing while he went out there and, you know, got some extra defensemen and some extra forwards as well. Just in case something like this happens. In this way, you know, last year, Nemec was kind of forced into a call-up. They didn't really want to bring him out of the AHL. They wanted to let him develop down there, but we didn't have a choice. This year, we don't have to force Seamus Casey there into, you know, coming up a little bit early. You know, you have other guys on the team that you can put in there. You know, Kovacevic obviously immediately comes to mind. Nick DeSimone as well, who wasn't there until, you know, midway through the year. We got from Calgary, right? I think we picked him up off of waivers from Calgary. I know they got a couple PTOs as well, But this is why Fitz went out there. And I remember over the summer we were like, it looks like there's going to be another move. It looks like there's too many guys on the team. There's got to be another move coming sooner. There's going to be a package deal. What's going on? And Fitzy holds still. And it looks like it's a pretty smart move that he did, because already before the season starts, we're already looking at that depth as, whew, glad we got those guys.
Woo! Super chat.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. Thank you,
Right away.
Nate. Thank you, Nate, for the super chat.
Yeah.
So, how is it the Devils act more like a big market team than the actual big market teams at the Meadowlands? That's a very listen. I think I could safely say that all four of us are Giants fans in this room, and unfortunately, not to go steer off into football territory right now, being this is episode 1, but we will all say this: look for the Giants to be drafting in the first, the top 3, as long as they don't screw that up and win a couple of games.
They will.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Look
But hey,
for the Giants
at least
to be
we'll
starting Tommy Cutlets next week. That's what you should be looking for, I think.
Yeah,
a friend of mine was already calling for that halfway through the home opener last week.
We're gonna tank for Arch. Tank for Arch.
Tank for Arch. It would be kind of it would be pretty cool, but Arch Manning I think needs a little bit more development in college right now.
No, he doesn't.
He did have that sweet run.
I bet you do better than Daniel Jones.
Yeah, that's one thing his uncles could never do is go out there and run it for 64 yards. So a Manning with legs could be a very dangerous thing to have out there. But and listen, the Jets, good for the Jets. They got to win today, barely beating the Titans, which is kind of pathetic. But they won, so good for the Jets. But going back to like what we were talking about before with Luke Hughes, like yes, the depth of this team is going to be one of the strengths of this team, hopefully, because right off the bat with this injury, it like you said, it's not going to force Seamus Casey into a role that he's going to be uncomfortable with. And don't forget, Nemec had a little bit of an injury in the
over the summer.
Worlds, over the summer.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So who knows what that's going to look like, and who knows like the severity of that, because it kind of like it seemed like he was okay. I'm not going to lie, where I lost contact of what was going on with that situation. But if him and Luke are both out to start the season, at least there's some other guys that we can plug into the lineup. It's going to look a lot different. And it's going to feel a lot different because it's going to be less offensive, that's for sure. But at least you can say like there's guys that you can put back there that are more than capable of doing their job.
It'll kind of. I feel like it might be a little bit of a wash because we get that Dougie Hamilton guy back who wasn't around all last year. So, might be pretty even there for the get go. And then once Luke does come back, it should be kicking in even more offense as the time passes. But I think with Dougie coming back healthy to start the season, it won't be too massive of a loss there. And like we said, with the depth that we have, it should be pretty good. Like let Luke, no need to rush him back. Let him rest up, let him heal, make sure he's fully healed, not coming back at 70% and then getting re-injured. What we saw with Timo Meyer last year as well, trying to come back too soon to help out the team, ends up getting hurt again. We don't have to worry about that because now we actually have these depth pieces. And it's going to play to our advantage. And yeah, don't forget Dougie Hamilton will be back there. So those Luke points, they'll transfer into Dougie dogs. I don't know. I'm trying to think
some Dougie dimes.
Dougie Dimes. There we go. Dougie Dimes, who can also throw the ball better than Daniel Jones.
Shirts guy. We should make a shirt of Dougie Dimes.
Dougie Dimes. Very good. Very good.
Welcome back, Dougie Dimes.
We could do it. I've done stuff like that before. I mean, look at the shirt I'm wearing now. We'll make it work.
Heck yeah. That's actually one of my favorite shirts that we have. I wear that one often. I wore that to go. I went to see Clutch recently, and I wore that to the Clutch show. I was like, it's a very solid shirt.
You were wearing it when I saw you down at Cape May.
That's true too. Yes, yeah. I wear it often and I wear it proudly. So yeah, I know somebody brought it up before, and it's something that we were kind of touching on before about what's this team going to look like during training camp. There's a lot of guys that could possibly make the cut. There's a lot of there is a lot of depth on this team, but that doesn't mean that the Devils aren't going to have any PTOs, and they're making a PTO. We kind of alluded to it earlier in the show, but it looks like LeBlanc from Joey LeBlanc from Friends is going to be is going
You mean
to be
Matt LeBlanc?
or whatever his name is. Matt LeBlanc is going to be doing a PTO.
I like how you used his character.
I hated that show.
His first name for his character and then his last real name. I like how you just combined them together there.
I can honestly and truthfully say I've never watched a single episode of that show. So I might be one of the few people that you meet in history that could say I could never watch a full episode of Friends in my entire life. So that's probably why I could butcher that name and get away with it.
Okay.
Well, we didn't let you get away with it, really.
That's true. Very true.
Anyway, with your point.
Oh, my point being is
there'll be some PTOs that come in. I know it's LeBlanc and
Kevin
LeBlanc. Michael, I need you tonight. Hutchinson is coming in too, and then I think there's someone else.
I need you tonight. I hope he makes the team just for that. And if
there's someone else, I think they signed. Did Van Riemsdyk sign a PTO anywhere? Because I know he was rumored to go. I think the Devils were on the list, and he was rumored. Probably might end up back in Boston. I didn't see if he actually signed a PTO anywhere, but I heard that he was looking.
Yeah, Kevin LeBlanc is the last one that I saw. I'm pretty sure like a name like Van Riemsdyk that would bring up. That would be a pretty big story if he did a PTO here. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. But my question is, and obviously PTOs don't mean like you're going to make the team automatically. It's just like you can come out. One of my favorite PTOs of all time, Vern Fiddler. I don't know why that name always sticks with me whenever I hear a PTO.
Was he a PTO? I thought he was a trade.
PTO. No,
he was a PTO. Are you sure?
Yeah, he's a PTO. Yeah, I'm like 98% sure on that one.
I thought he was a trade. Who was the guy that was actually like really successful?
What's up, Ted?
On a PTO. What's up, Ted?
Hey, Ted.
Kevin Rooney. Max said Kevin Rooney is Max, are you telling us that Kevin Rooney is a PTO? JVR is off the board in Columbus. Good for them.
Oh, he's in Columbus. Okay.
I mean, with everything
who was that guy that it was maybe like
Rooney?
I want to say maybe like 10 years ago. No, not Kevin Rooney. Someone who was like really successful, PTO. And the Devils ended up like flipping him midway through the year. Why can't I think of who that was?
Yeah, Vern Fiddler.
No, it wasn't Vern VC. Fiddler.
It wasn't VC either.
No, it wasn't VC. Damn it!
So
I can't. Something
2014. Yeah,
something with like an S with the last name. I feel like I can't remember now.
Samsonite.
Samsonite,
Slappy. Check the briefcase. It's probably on the briefcase.
I'll look it up. Wasn't there? No, Sam.
I feel like you're right.
The other room.
Who was the defenseman that ended up with the Rangers? He came into the Devils camp as a PTO, and then we didn't sign him. And he ended up playing for the Rangers for like 4 or 5 years. He had a pretty good like run after that.
A defenseman? I don't know. I'm really wrecking my brain.
And Anton Strawman. Was it Strawman? Strawman? Anton Strawman?
I think Strawman is correct.
Yeah. He came in with the Devils, and then we didn't sign him after the PTO, and then the Rangers signed him, and he ended up playing like 2 or 3 years with the Rangers.
I know there was that
his life.
Yeah, seriously. I know there was that rumor about 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, that Milan Lucic was potentially a PTO for us. But that didn't seem to really go anywhere.
But he's also
it was the rumor, at least.
Well, but he's also suspended from the league for domestic violence.
Okay, then screw him.
So that kind of like torpedoed that. And I'm pretty sure Fitzy's a smart enough guy that he wouldn't touch that one with a 20-foot pole.
No,
He'd be like, yeah, you could use the practice rink, but after what they just went through with certain two guys on the team last year, I don't think that
they're not going to touch any situation like that.
They're not going to do that. They're going to be like, what's wrong with your past? Oh, you got a speeding ticket? I don't know. We might have to pass on you. We have to.
I knew it was with an S. Lee Stamp. What was it? Stempniak.
Stepniak. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's who I was thinking of, not Vern Fiddler. That's
that's what he said. Yeah.
That's exactly who I was thinking of. 100%. Vern Fiddler too. Probably Vern Fiddler too. Vern Fiddler's somewhere smiling right now, having a cup of coffee wherever he is. I hear my name. My ears are ringing. You never know. He might be one of those late night guys that can drink coffee and go to sleep like a weirdo.
Does Vern, every time he hears his name, like a little Fife player comes on, like
no, just a little guy comes out, and he goes back.
Something like a little Legend of Zelda whistle going on.
Yeah.
Or wait, there was that whistle. What was it? There was that whistle in Super Mario. Was it Super Mario Brothers 3 where it would take whisk you off? You blow the whistle, whisk you off to another level.
Oh yeah, the little tornado that game.
Yeah.
That's the Vern Fiddler.
You had to get two. You had to have two of them, and you had to attain the right levels to use it to get to the last level.
I just, speaking of Mario, I want to drop this on you real quick. You know, he doesn't actually say "it's me, Mario."
No, he says it's a me.
It's me, but it's not. He's not saying it's me like it's me. It's like it's me, which is Japanese for super. So just so you know, and
well, thanks.
The more you know.
Yep. I'll never get those 3 seconds of my life back. Thanks.
Just think of Vern Fiddler, and you'll get it right back.
We're back.
And we're back. Welcome back to this most riveting podcast about New Jersey Devils hockey. We're going to be talking about all things Devils, including Super Mario.
Well, there's also go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say something about Mario Lemieux and how he was almost a devil, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, there is still, other than Luke, there is one other, sore spot on this team, and that is that Dawson Mercer is still not signed
a contract.
And I'm actually really surprised that no one has tried to send an offer sheet for him, because the Devils only have a certain amount of money here. What are they at? Like, I think 4.9 left underneath the cap. I gotta check the old.
I'll check that now.
The Puckpedia here. I have it up, and yes, 4.976, 103. So just under $5 million, and
and Mercer's looking to make that coin. He's looking to make that coin. He don't want to sit in a 4.3.
I don't think he's definitely going to get. I don't think he's going to get a long-term contract here. I think it's going to be like another one of those bridge contracts. But what is he looking for? Like $3 million, $4 million. I'm not really sure. But this has dragged on for quite some time, and it's a little bit concerning.
Let us not forget the contract negotiations that happened between Jesper Bratt and the Devils when he was looking to get a new contract. I mean, his dragged out until right on the eve of the season, and then he signed that 1-year bridge deal, and then it was like, okay, show me deal. And then even after that deal, it was like it took a little while to get everything hashed out. It might just come down to like Fitzy saying like, hey, like we know what you're worth, you know what you think you're worth. We can meet in the middle somewhere, but we might have to wait to see what shakes free here. I was surprised that he wasn't moved in the offseason, because there was a speculation. Maybe a few people were thinking that he could have been used in the Askarov deal, but apparently Askarov said no to the Devils. Like, he said he did not want to come here, so he can go take a long walk off a short bridge. It's who knows what the situation is. I feel confident that it will be done. So if it wasn't for the Jesper Bratt deal in the past, or like things that have happened already that show that, like, hey, listen, patience and it'll get worked out, I'd be kind of freaked out. But we've been down this road, so I don't think it's anything to worry about. I think it's just nice, Sam. I don't think it's something that we need to worry about.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of concerned, to tell you the truth. I don't know. Like, I just feel like
I'm not.
I don't know. I just feel like we don't have a lot of wiggle room here.
We don't.
You know, with 4.9, if he wants something in the 3 to 4 million range, that's it. That's you got nothing after that. You know, I mean, you could always use the
unless you make a move.
We could use the long-term injured reserve trick, but you know, from what I read with those GM meetings, it looks like they're trying to put a stop to that. You know, especially when it comes for like playoff time and things like of that nature. But yeah, there's not a lot of wiggle room there. You know,
and really the only LTIR that we could use right now would be Luke Hughes, but that's just shy of $1 million.
6 to 8 weeks. Yeah, and that's not going to make a dent.
No, it's not going to make a dent. It's exactly what, you know, before you brought up the whole Bratt thing, that's what I was thinking too. It's like eventually that all worked out into our favor, into his favor, and everyone was happy. So, you know, I know Dawson Mercer's agent has probably seen that happen in the past and knows the Devils, you know, will be willing to do that. But also the fact that he hasn't been moved at all. There hasn't been an offer sheet. To me, it just seems like there's something in the works. They're hammering things out, and they could be just negotiating back and forth. And that's fine. If they're still talking, that's fine. I have confidence that they'll get a deal done. You know, he's a big piece to this Devils team, and I want to see him stay. And I have a feeling that come opening day, I guess technically here on Friday the 4th, we're going to see him on the roster. You know, it's just a matter of time and getting that deal done. Because Scotty, you're right, there isn't a ton of room. So that's got to. I'm curious if maybe that is, you know, kind of the sticking point. Like right now, like maybe the Devils want to pay him a little bit less to have that little bit of wiggle room, and his agent wants to take it right to the wall. They're trying to find that spot in the middle. It's because Fitzy is not 100%. Fitzy is not going to do something that's going to screw this team over or put this team in a tough spot. And, you know, 4.9, and, you know, I would imagine maybe Fitzy's trying to get him to do 3.5 just so we have that little bit of space there, or something of that nature, with the intended promise that, hey, listen, here's your show me deal. It's 3 point, because what was he making last year? Was this contract that he just got off his entry level?
I think so.
Okay, so yeah. So it looks like 800. You know, just shy of $1 million. I mean, you know, he was 925. It was his entry level, just like Luke. So, yeah, but not for nothing. 3.5 from 925 is a heck of a pay raise. You know, and
but it's about what his worth is, right?
Say again.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's about what his worth is, right? Or what I know what his camp probably thinks his worth is, and he's one of those players that he hasn't missed a game. He's gotten, I mean, he had a little bit of a step back last year, but I mean, he's gotten progressively better every single year. He's becoming a very reliable player out in the ice. I mean, yeah, dude. So looking at some of the comments here, and thank you to everybody out there on X, on Facebook, on YouTube and everything else, but looking at some of the comments here, like, one thing Dubs said, I think Fitzy is trying to push him to 3 years, to push him past the Luke and Nemec contracts, which I think is actually probably maybe pretty accurate, because you have two bigger contracts that are on the horizon, right? So you have to keep all those things into perspective. He has to balance out when certain guys are going to get paid. Yeah, so maybe that's what he's trying to do, and they're looking for something else where maybe the money's not matching it. You know, or maybe he's trying to, maybe they're trying to balance the contract where, like, okay, this year you're going to get like 1.2, but then in year 3 and 4 you're going to get like 4.5 or whatever that, like however that stuff works
Well, yeah,
out.
you can structure that where you get paid more because it's the cap's going to go up again.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of what it's going to be, and is it next season or 2 seasons from now that it goes up? I can't remember, but he'll get his money eventually. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, it's just
I guess from his point of view, though, it's you want your money now.
Yeah.
Because
JG Wentworth then. If you want your money now,
yeah.
call JG Wentworth.
But for every
now.
sports player, their careers aren't guaranteed. It's not a guarantee that he's going to play, 10, 15 years. He may play 2 games into this year, and I'm not saying anything, but there's been times where players get hurt, and you never know what can happen. So from his perspective, is like, why should I take that risk of lowballing myself? I'm sure that his camp is probably asking in the 4 range. And I agree with you, Shorts guy. I feel like Fitzy's probably looking somewhere in the 3s, just to give a little bit of wiggle room there, like $1 million or so, in case something else does happen and they have to, call somebody up or sign someone an emergency basis or something along those lines. But if you're Dawson Mercer, and if you can get $4 million, why wouldn't you? Why would you take less? So it's I am a little. I always get a little concerned when like the contracts drag out this long, especially because next year, Luke he's up. He's an RFA next year, and he's going to get a hell of a raise as well. So there's a little bit of a crunch there in the numbers.
Have faith in Fitzy, and he's shown it time and time again where he's gotten players like Nico and Jack to buy into the system of, you got to leave something on the table. I know you want this big time $10 million contract, but you got to leave something on the table. And he's on record said this before. He gets the players because you look at the Patriot way of doing things, right? When Tom Brady could have been making more money than everybody in the NFL, he would leave more money on the table so they can go out and sign a receiver, so they can get a Randy Moss, or they can go out and they can get a linebacker, or they could get somebody that's going to help win a championship. So the message is still there in place where they're like, listen, you see what we have. Now we have Sheldon Keefe. Now we have all these pieces in place. We have Pesci. We have, a solid defense. We have Markstrom now. We have all these pieces that are in place. Like, our window is wide open. So whatever he's trying to say to this kid and whatever his camp is doing, I have faith that they're going to get it figured out before the beginning of the season. And just he has a proven track record of getting these things sorted out. I hate to say it, but if you remember the days of Lou, there were times where contracts like this would scare the hell out of me because they would be gone. Guys would be gone.
Yep.
Zach Parisis of the world would be gone. And you'd watch your favorite player and you'd be like, oh, my God, yes, all right. Oh, crap, he's coming up on a contract year. And it was never like, hooray, he's going to do well. It's like, oh, God, are we going to lose him? And a lot of times we did lose him. And it sucked. But the Fitzy kind of goes about things a little bit differently. So that's, the plus side of everything.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's a fair point. Yeah. I mean, that's true. And if he can convince him of that, that's great. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just a little concerned when they drag out this long, especially with a player, maybe if it was someone who wasn't as key to this team, but Dawson Mercer, like you said, I mean, he's never missed a game career. Yeah. And, he was someone that we were shocked, he never went to the AHL. He came right into the NHL, and he hasn't, missed a beat. And he had a little bit of a downer year, but he still put up some points last year as well. Even won some fan love too, dropping the gloves there in that Ranger game too. So I mean, he's an important piece of this team that you don't want to see, just poof, walk away, or like you were saying, like in those old Lou days, have them get pissed off and be like, all right, as soon as I'm a UFA, I'm out of here, because,
I'm not getting paid
so,
here.
Yeah. And that could be a thing. Like, okay, well, Dougie's getting paid, Timo's getting paid, Jack's getting paid, Nico's getting paid, Jesper's getting paid, Luke is about to get paid, what about me? Like that's the kind of mentality that I hope Fitzy is able to counteract, because I'm sure it's there.
Can I ask you guys a question? And you could, I don't know how I feel about this, and I'm obviously we're all very biased because we love Luke Hughes and we see his potential. Has he shown you that he's worth $9 million yet, or an $8 million contract yet? Luke.
Who?
So he's coming off an injury, right? And I'm just saying this because as we're saying all these things, Luke's going to get a huge contract. Luke's going to get a big. I'm like, okay, outside of if his name was Bob McMuggins, and he was not Jack's brother, would he still be? But he still had the same hype, and he still had the same that potential is all there. I mean, last year Luke had an average season. Was he he was getting votes for Calder and everything like that, but he was still, was he going out there, Cal McCarr? Like, was he going out there and, even Adam Fox? Was he going out there and doing things like above and beyond? No. Situationally, there was a whole different circumstance for him, and I completely get that. And he was put into a situation by losing Dougie that, put him into deep water right off the bat. So, yes, not everything is created equal, but my point is, can we get away with paying him like a bridge deal for like a 2-year deal or a year or whatever to be like, okay, we know what you're worth or what you can be worth. Now you have to go in it because you don't want to give somebody a contract based on their gravitas or whatever. You don't want to give them like a namesake contract and then have them just be mediocre.
You mean you don't want to do what the Giants did with Daniel Jones?
Oh, that's very true. You're a quarterback and you're in New York. I got to give you money, I guess.
It's going to be a tricky situation because you're getting a lot of these studs that all want to get paid. And we're going to run out of room, real quick. So, yeah, Fitzy's got to convince these guys to, maybe take a little bit less. Maybe he can tell Luke that Jack will be really upset if he makes more money than him, and that we wouldn't want to upset Jack. So, or else we'll just give him rabbit punches at the Thanksgiving dinner every year, and
then come back from Thanksgiving with an injured shoulder.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Luke from getting hit, Jack from throwing the punch, they'll both be injured then. But yeah, I mean, Fitzy's really got to work his magic because don't forget, then you got Nemec as well. You got Casey, you have all these guys that are coming through this pipeline that are all have that potential
and
to be some higher end players.
Dougie's got 3 years after this year.
Yeah.
Left on.
So you have a little time there. That's a $9 million contract that eventually will come off the books.
Pesce is the same distance of contract as Hamilton, and Dylan is 1 year less. So, it could be one of these times where maybe you give him, maybe like a Siegenthaler type of contract for 2-3 years, that bridge deal, and show it. He's going to be coming back from injury at some point this season, so that may hamper his numbers and his playing time this year. But also traditionally, defensemen take longer to develop. It would be one of those things where they can say, listen, here's a bridge deal, we'll develop you further, and hopefully I forget who said it in the chat, the cap's going up $4 million next year. Maybe you give them a 2-year deal, 3-year deal, probably 2 years, probably better. And maybe they can get the cap to go up significantly in the next 2 years. It's, that's the thing with the salary cap is you have to be smart. I mean, you look at what's, potentially going to happen in Edmonton, to where you're going to have Draisaitl McDavid making a huge chunk of their salary cap. And then they've got someone like who's it? Is it Darnell Nurse that's making a ton of money and doesn't really do much?
You're
12?
making ridiculous money.
Yeah. And then we got Shesterkin that's going to be looking for 12. So either players are going to have to take a pay cut, or the league's going to have to look into raising the salary cap if it's economically feasible, because it's that's in the salary cap era. You have to make sure if you want to have a competitive team, and we all want to see a competitive team, then the Fitzgerald's got to be smart about who he signs to what.
And he has been. He has been.
Oh, absolutely.
And
he has been.
That's the one thing I keep saying. Like, that's what gives me like the it's okay, don't worry about it. And there's things that he does. Like, the one thing I really appreciate about Fitzgerald is he'll take a ton of crap for drafting certain players. Like the kid that they just drafted in this past draft, the kid from Russia, the defenseman, who is doing pretty dang good over in Russia right now. I'd say his name, but then I'd butcher his name, and then it's the whole thing. And then you have like guys like Chase Stillman, who is a first-round pick, and everybody's like, it's a bust, it's a bust, it's a bust. Has he made it to the NHL yet? No. Has he made it to that point where we can officially call it a bust yet? No. In fact, at the prospect camp, he's up there doing pretty damn well, up there too. So there's certain things that he does. There's certain players that we have in the system that we kind of just lose track of. If we ever get Gritsyuk from Russia, that would be nice. But there's guys that are in the system that we know could step in. Seamus Casey wearing number 24 is a big thing, because that means usually when you get that big boy number, that means you're on the horizon of coming up. So It's going to be interesting if they, Scotty brought it up before, you don't have to put him in right away, but if he comes into camp and he shows out and he's playing damn good in camp and he's playing damn good in scrimmages before we get to the beginning of the season, I don't know, because then you have to worry about the burning in, or what is that? I forget what that's called, when you burn into their rookie contract, where you can stash them in the AHL and it doesn't count against this or that, whatever it is. But I don't know. They have options. They have a lot of guys that the farm system's like, okay, it's not fantastic, but it's pretty darn good. I just trust him. I just trust what he's doing. And going back to that Luke thing, I don't think you just throw a huge contract at him just because he's Luke Hughes. Like, you gotta earn this piece of the pie if you want to get it.
I think it would be smart though to lock Luke up long term when
possible. Of course.
Because then you keep him happy, you keep Jack happy, and obviously the contracts are not going to be the same length. So Luke is here for longer. Jack wants to stay. I don't know. It's just I see where it's a delicate situation. That's for damn sure. And there are a lot of guys, like we said, that are going to be looking to get paid. And a lot of us have talked about Dawson Mercer. He's definitely someone that other teams would find, pretty useful on their team.
Very useful, yeah.
Oh, 1,000%.
So it's a tricky situation. It really is. It really, really is. If you want that extra depth, you're losing that extra, wiggle room that you normally do have. So we have that depth right now. It's tricky. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it. But
I wouldn't want to be in his position. Like, that's why he gets paid the money he gets paid to do what he's doing.
I'm definitely though a little bit concerned that we may end up losing Dawson. He might just be one of those casualties as well of like teams. You've seen this before where you just can't sign everybody. And there's going to be a couple guys like that we just aren't able to sign. We were wondering last year or prior if it was going to be a Jesper Bratt, if he was going to be one of those, casualties for things like that. And it turned out that, we've signed him long term. And again, Dougie Hamilton, that $9 million contract is huge. It is 3 years left on it. Does Dougie finish that contract out with the Devils? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure.
It's possible he doesn't.
Because they're going to need that money at some point.
That's a great point, Short Sky, because there is a possibility. It's not like these guys are. You'd have to check because I don't know off the top of my head if Dougie has a no move contract or no move clause or any of that going on. Because if he does, then it definitely hampers things. Because
let's see, do they have that on here? I'm trying to look up. Yeah, no movement clause. No movement clause. Yeah, just a no movement clause. But
But they can.
It's got to be player approval. So it's got to be with the player's approval.
Not that we're saying we want to move Dougie Hamilton, because not only do we love Dougie when he's performing on the ice, but he's
got 4 years left. By the way, not 4 years. 4.
Mm-hmm. I know a surefire. I know a surefire way. I know a surefire way for Dougie Hamilton to be traded right quick. Sammy goes out and gets a Dougie Hamilton jersey. He will be traded.
Yeah,
he will be traded within the week.
Get on it, Sam.
Man, Stephen Engel, you're all about Jason Robinson, and rightfully so, because that kid is ridiculous.
That kid's good. I like that kid.
He said, "Can we trade Mercer, Siegenthaler, and both our seconds next year for Robertson?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I would go for that." But
I'd nix that trade.
If you were the opposite side, if you were Dallas,
I don't like Robertson. That's just me.
Really? I like him.
Interesting from Sam.
No, wait. I think I might know why Sam doesn't like Robinson. I think I know why. I'm gonna double check.
Max.
I think I know why. Anyway.
And Max, no, I don't think Luke's dad is his agent, so we don't have to worry about the Scott Gomez situation occurring again.
Yeah. Dad,
where they go to arbitration.
My money, Dad. Oh yeah, and Lou freaking insults him right to his dad's face. I can imagine what the things that Lou Lamoriello probably said in that meeting. He was probably like, "Your son, yes, son." I gotta sound like
get your Rhode Island accent.
Yeah, I gotta get whatever. He's out there he's partying. He's doing things he shouldn't be doing. Your son, he's a disgrace off the ice.
Yeah, I know exactly why Sam doesn't like Jason Robertson. I just looked it up. Just what I thought. I know why Sam doesn't want him. Just what I thought.
Terrible, Sam. Terrible. Yeah, but dude, listen, Dougie coming back is also, if we get, he's not going to be 100%. That torn pec that he's coming from, or his injury is not an easy one to come back from. So we're not going to get 100% Dougie Hamilton back. So, but we can get experience back. We're going to get even if you get him back at 75, 80%, he's still.
Who said he wasn't going to be 100%?
Okay. Health wise, yes, he's 100%. But 75, 80% of how he used to be able to play, he's not going to be the same player as he was before this injury. It's not even a question.
From a torn pec, I would say he's probably fully recovered. I wouldn't say that he wouldn't be. I don't know. I
don't know.
It's not like he blew out a tire, busted out his knee and had it replaced or something like that.
Steven, Hamilton can't play defense anyways. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I think Dougie will be fine. I would be expecting a good heap of points coming from Dougie Hamilton this year.
A good heap. Do you think he could match what he did the season before?
I would say 60 to 70
goals.
points. 60 to 70 points.
22 goals.
Yeah.
Do you think he can match it?
I think he'll come back motivated to show he's healed.
Yeah.
At least the good side is he got injured so early in the year last year that he's had quite a time to recover.
He's had a long time to recover. Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah. I would expect him to come back. Yeah, full force. I would expect.
Hey, listen, I would be happy to be wrong about what I just said in a heartbeat, but I guess we'll have to see what kind of production we get out of Dougie. But the upside, at least NHL Network had this really interesting piece about the Devils and Markstrom, and in particular, and how when Markstrom had, the complement of Matthew Tkachuk, and when he was still on the Flames were a really, really, and Gaudreau, they were a really, really solid team. But then, once everybody kind of started getting moved or going into free agency and leaving Calgary, he struggled. The year after, they struggled. When they lost all these guys, he struggled. And it was because Markstrom was trying to do too much. And that was basically what they were trying to say. But they're in Jersey, it should be better because you look at the defensive core that's built up in front of them now with the additions of Pesce, with the additions of Dylan, with Dougie Hamilton coming back, that it should be a little bit different, and it should be a lot better for him. I feel confident this year, and I guess my question to you guys is, do you feel like this is the first year in a long time going into a season where goaltending isn't a huge concern? Do you feel comfortable and confident with Markstrom being our number one?
Yeah, I feel comfortable with it. And you got Jake Allen there. It's better than what we've had recently, that's for sure.
No, I know. Will, you're definitely right. October 19th can't come fast enough. Traveling from Kansas. All right, man.
Hey. I'm confident with Markstrom, but the only thing that I don't like is right now this is the short-term solution. It's still not going to be he's not the goaltender of the long-term future. That's still got to be determined. And that to me is in the back of my mind, all right, cool. We've got Markstrom, Bobrovsky just showed us you could still do it at a high level at 36, as long as you get into the playoffs. My guess is right now with Allen this season, I'd be curious to see what their split is, if it's going to be a 60-40 split to keep them both, because they're both I feel so weird saying this, but they're both 34, which is a bit of a, it's getting up there in age NHL wise. So we'll see if they're able to manage his minutes and see what he does. And with a better core, it was needing to improve the defense. If we looked at what happened last season, Jake Allen came in. If Jake Allen had this defense last season, we probably would have made the playoffs.
Jake the Snake.
Fear the snake.
Fear the snake.
Yeah. Fear the brownie, little brownie Girl Scouts in Vegas. Holy crap. But for right now, yeah, Markstrom's the answer for this year and next year. What he's going to be after that, we're going to find out. But at some point, we have to find that goaltender that's going to, give us the next 10 years. Mm-hmm. So for right now, this is the most confident I've been in a defense and goaltending in a long time.
Yeah. And no, Max, we've had a lot of the season. Relax.
We've had a lot of false hope in our goaltenders though over the last 8 years. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. And for right now, I'm confident. And I want to figure out what they're going to do in 2 years' time.
Sam Dubs wants to know if you ordered your Palat jersey yet.
That's another player that could be moved to open up space.
Yeah,
that's probably top. I mean, top player on the list that if we're going to move to open up space.
He might have a no move clause too, though.
I'll look that up.
And Sam popped in for a second. He was about to say something, but then he
showed his face
again. Yeah,
and then he left.
His disapproval. Yeah, Palat is an interesting character because. Another thing about this team is you need to see this team on the ice as a whole team for an extended period of time. That's something that did not happen last year. And I think we talked about it early in the year last year where we're like, hey, have the Devils had their full actual squad on paper on the ice at the same time? And I think it was before Jack went out, I think it was maybe for a week. They had their entire team, and they were
much at all.
Yeah. So they need to stay healthy. These guys need to do what they have to do to stay on the ice. And all these things on paper always seem good. And last year we had super high hopes. We were looking at top of the Metro. We were looking at like maybe fighting the Canes for the top of the Metro. Going into this year, yeah, the same expectations are there because you could see the potential of the team, but potential can only get you so far. On paper can only get you so far. It's like you guys got to they have to stay healthy and they have to perform. And if we can get Timo Meier from the second half of last year coming in to the beginning of this year, that would be amazing. Because right off the bat, like he was a force when once they made the coaching change. Timo Meier that we traded for was the Timo Meier that showed up. And if we can get that dude going and get Nico going and get Jack going and keep Jack healthy, boy, oh boy, it could be fun. And then Palat can slide into that third line and just do what he has to do until the playoffs, and then he goes into Palat mode and he takes over.
Yeah, I just remember at the beginning of this, coming up on this time last year, everyone was going nuts because we were 7-0 in the preseason.
Oh, screw that! I don't want to go undefeated anymore in this preseason.
I don't want to go 7-0 in the preseason.
No,
I'd rather lose games and because you're trying out things versus going 7-0 in the preseason.
They might be undefeated in the rookie challenge up in Buffalo right now. I think though. I think they're 2-0, 2-0 or 3-0.
I got that alert on Friday. I was like, Devils are playing. The last week was so nuts. I had no idea, and all of a sudden I got the alert. Devils was a 5-0 victory on Friday, and I was like, "What? I thought preseason was the 22nd." So it totally caught me off guard.
Oh, and there's another Max with Tatar. Scotty, do you think Tatar goes on Heischer's line again right off the bat, or where do you think he fits in? 2-0. 2-0. Thanks, Steven.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Tatar is going to be. You know what? I'm not going to say just yet. I don't know if he's got the speed to keep up with him. Don't forget. I mean, Tatar last year. I mean, he was basically just done. Like he didn't make any sort of impact with who was it? Was it Colorado he was with?
He was with Seattle.
Or Seattle?
I think he was started with Colorado and then went to Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, he really didn't have any sort of impact at all. Hopefully he will with the Devils again. But I mean, if he seems like he's got the afterburners going in camp, then maybe he might find himself up there. But I would say probably more into like a bottom 6 role, for Tatar. But we'll see where Tuna ends up,
And let's not forget it's a whole new coaching staff too. So, they weren't this coaching staff was not here when Tatar was here last. So they may see different things, and it could be knowing that they played well together. The coaching staff can say, "Okay, let's try this combination out that we know has worked, or that Nico could potentially be like this, and this combo worked in the past, and we can start off in preseason, skating in practice like this, and then from just to start somewhere with him."
I'm sure that they'll get a look at a preseason game, definitely.
Oh yeah. Oh, without a doubt, I have no. They're going to do that because Sheldon Keefe's going to have to probably have a conversation with Nico. Be like, all right, what did you see from the team last year? I'm sure Sheldon Keefe knows a little bit about last year, but he's going to go to some of the top players and pick their brains about this and that before kind of line combos, and then they'll probably try out every potential line combo in the first couple of days of practice and just see what works. Yeah, look at how last season ended. And go from there. You got to start somewhere. So, so we'll see.
And who did Tatar and Nico play so well with? Who was the other part of that line?
Dawson Mercer.
Yep.
Da-da-da-da.
Yeah. Bum 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 bum. Suspense.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I thought you were doing Monday Night Football theme. All of a sudden I got jacked up. Well, listen, boys. I think it's time to put her to bed tonight and then to wrap her up.
Sounds good.
And so, who would like to go first with their final thoughts there?
I'll start. I'm just happy hockey season is right around the corner. Now that it's September, now I can be excited and look forward to hockey season. So I'm excited to see what the first preseason game will be about this time next week when we're going on air. It starts at 7:00. So yeah, I'm excited to see some actual Devils news coming out this week from camp and all that stuff. So this week's gonna be a fun week.
Yeah, buddy. And I know we didn't really talk about it on the podcast, but I did want to mention, that our thoughts and prayers go out to the Gaudreau family with Johnny Hockey and his brother Matthew and that awful tragedy that happened, and the many lives that have been affected. Just terrible news. But hopefully the hockey season can help a lot of these wounds heal. I know, and listen, it kind of brought a lot of light to a lot of things, at least for me personally, because I know when he decided to go to Columbus and didn't want to sign with the Devils, all of us were like, what a bum, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, they're people too. And even if they're playing on the team across the river, you never want to wish anything like this on anybody. So, our thoughts and prayers and our condolences to the families. But, be smart when you're out there. If you're having an anchor breed, be smart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Use an Uber, use a Lyft, call a friend. Yeah. And yeah, I'll just, second what you guys both said over there. I'm excited for hockey season. It's a great time to be a sports fan right now with football, whether you like college or NFL. Soccer, I know a shorts guy right there. MLS, EPL is in full swing. Baseball is making a playoff push, and then you got hockey and basketball coming back as well. It's an amazing time of year. It gets to that point where you're like, I want to watch this game, but I don't have time to do it. What's happening here? There's like 5 things on today I want to see. So just enjoy it, and I can't wait to get back. Having these Devils games on, and I think it's going to be a really exciting year for this team. And that depth that we've talked about, it's going to play crucial roles throughout the year, and we're going to be happy that Fitzy went out there and got that depth, because we're going to need it. Like we saw last year, we're going to need it at points over the season.
Yeah, right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. Right off the bat.
Unfortunately.
Get it
Sammy boy.
Yeah, I got a plug. JCB Architectural.
Yeah, buddy.
Ticket giveaway for the preseason game on the 22nd. Devils Islanders, 7 p.m. start. Just letting you know. Find out on the next podcast how to win.
Oh, boy. Nice
Teaser?
cliffhanger.
Yeah.
A nice teaser. Nice teaser, buddy. Somebody went to broadcast university.
No, I just copy what Scotty does on Liquid Metal. But go to joinourcrew.com. Enter to win. That's how it's going to be done. Making it up as I go along.
Yep. Same time, same place there, Ted.
Yeah. John Roy, the only suggestion I would make if it's a giveaway is announce it ahead of time, which I'm doing. Like the next episode, we'll be giving away tickets so make sure you subscribe. Sign up to joinourcrew.com. JCB Architectural, thank you very much. Great seats, row 1, somewhere in the 100s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very nice.
No, they are amazing. I've sat there before. They are amazing seats. They're really, really good seats.
Just don't spill popcorn because the people below.
Yeah, the people below might get a little upset.
Yeah.
Or throw chicken fingers on the ice.
Yeah.
Opening night, baby. That's when it's going to happen.
Yeah. Speaking of that, go to joinourcrew.com so you can get all the information about what we're doing for opening night.
Yeah.
At the Prudential Center.
Yeah.
Another tease, man.
Ooh,
this is a very
it's
teasing
seriously.
end to this episode.
Ted says, when is the next podcast? You're going to have to find out. That's for me to know. And you to
No,
find
another
out.
tease.
Oh,
Oh, man.
that sounds like a great excuse to go and subscribe and set some alerts for the podcast.
Yeah, go to joinourcrew.com. Enter to win. I'll randomly select who will win.
Ooh.
I found the button.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Super
mouse.
tease.
Yeah, the mouse actually stopped working during the intro. That's what took so long for me to get into the groove. Anyway, want to thank all those tuning in, dropping the podcast at midnight. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Facebook page, on X, Twitch, and Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get our podcasts. Till next time, let's go Devils.